Hi, guys. Welcome to Messed Up to Blessed Up. If you've landed here, you are on our Transformation Testimonies page. This is a place of encouragement and hope. We share stories here, stories of overcoming, stories that are inspirational, stories that are meant to lift you up and encourage you in your journey. And so today we have the privilege of having Ivana Hill with us. Ivana, I'm going to let you just take a few moments and share with our audience what God has done in your life and the story behind the story of Ivana and who you are.
I got saved at 17 here at North Palm. I really wouldn't say I really started with a zealous likeness for the Lord after Him until I was about 19. Um, but my background is pretty crazy. Just a quick recap. I was born in Las Vegas. My parents, when I was younger, were drug addicts. I was in foster homes for about 8 years of my childhood. We went into foster homes when I was about 3 or 4 into the system. And it was because my sisters had said that our grandfather was like molesting us.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were taken away. And so throughout that series of time, we were in multiple foster homes. We were in orphanages. There's 5 of I'm one of 5.
And how long was that time that you were in foster home?
That time was probably about 8 years. Even
Wow.
when we were with family, we were still in the system.
So that's a pretty unstable childhood
Mhm.
for you.
Yeah. So we were in and out of homes and stuff. And during that time, one home was really rich. Some homes were really poor. I experienced physical abuse, verbal abuse, sexual abuse a lot, all the time. Some homes that didn't happen. It was good. Some things were good. And one thing I had wondered my whole life was like, why couldn't I just be born into a rich family? Or why couldn't I just be like some princess? Or why couldn't my family be together? Why can't we be with our parents? And I remember when my mom died in 2000, when I was 8 years old. I was living in Hawaii. When she died, I was like, it's over. Like, my mom's never coming back, because we always had hope. Like, our parents are going to get us.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, she's never coming back. That's it. Like, I don't know what's going to happen now.
And at that moment, did you feel hopeless? Like you had no way out? You had no hope for a future?
Yeah, I had no idea what was going to happen. I mean, we were with family in Hawaii, but now all my dreams of like my parents coming back to get us and it being this like fairy tale story was like not going to happen.
Right.
And so among all those things, growing up as a teenager, I had just a lot of anger issues and things like that. And just that wondering, even when I got saved, wondering like, God, why did those things happen to me?
Right.
Like, why? If you're so good, why did you let that happen? And I was in a healing session called a Sozo one day.
Mm-hmm.
And God took me to a moment where I was being molested. And He had me recall that memory. I was probably like 5 or 6.
Wow. Very young.
Yeah. And in that memory, I was like watching like front in the room. And as the young guy came into the room at the door, like Jesus was standing in the doorway. And He was like trying to stop him.
Wow.
And he kept coming. And so then when it was happening, Jesus showed me that He was right beside the bed with me. And He was like checking on me, and He was kind of frantic, like, okay, what's going on? Are you okay? Are you okay?
Right.
And it's like happening. And I'm like watching this happen because He's showing me that He was in every moment of my life. And so this is happening. And then Jesus runs out of the room. And He runs into another room, and there's this huge table, and there's all these scrolls and papers and blueprints and maps, and He's rolling them out, and He's like writing frantic, and then I see Him running back to the other room and checking on me and running back to the other room and writing on these papers, and I'm like, where are you going? What are you doing? Like, what are you doing right now? And He's like, I am writing the plans to save you and to heal you from this moment.
Wow.
And I broke down. I broke
amazing.
down. He's like, I'm writing the plans of this moment. And He was telling me, like, I cannot, everyone has a choice, so I cannot control what people do and the choices they make. And I never, ever wanted that to happen to you. I never wanted that to be your story because, we always wonder, like, well, God just wanted that to happen to me so I could learn a lesson or,
Right.
I could help somebody else. No. It's never His plan, ever, for those bad things to happen to us. It was never His plan for me to be in foster care. It was never His plan for me to be molested. It was never his plan. That's not what he wanted for my life. But people make decisions and they're not always good. And he was showing me that in those moments, he writes plans for our escape, those ways of our escape, those plans for a hope in the future. And I realized that moment in that healing session was one of the moments he wrote for me to be healed from that. Because it was always like, you are a good dad. Then I got to see you are in every moment. And so my testimony, I'm not ashamed of it. I'm not ashamed of it. I will share it with anybody. And now, I can help other women who've been through that. And there is just the grandness of, he's such a good father that I learned from that he loves me, that his plans for us are good, that it's not that he wanted those things to happen to you, or he had those bad plans for you, for your life, for you and somebody to learn a lesson. I mean, that wasn't the plan. The plan was for hope in the future. And so him just showing me him writing out those plans, that heals that moment in my life along with everything else. And I got to see like the goodness of God in his hand over me. And so that was one
and you walk in that healing now. Yeah. And you have seen that fulfilled, and you have seen him as the great redeemer.
Yes.
Because that's what he does. He redeems those broken moments, and he makes them new, and he makes us whole in the middle of that brokenness. And then he gives us a testimony out of it that we're able to empower and encourage other people that are walking through that. And so I'm very encouraged by your story. Thank you so much, Ivana, for sharing with us. This has been a very beautiful moment to hear about in your life. I did not hear this or know this until now, and so I'm excited to hear that. And I believe also that because you have walked through that with the foster care system, that you are in a unique position also to begin to help imparting into those hopeless situations with children and really begin to find solutions. Because, see, that's what we need, are solutions. And I believe that you're going to do that. So thank you so much for being with us. We will see you next time on Transformation Testimonies. And we hope that you have been encouraged and inspired to continue your journey. Have a good day. God bless.